Hi.
Hi, friend.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm so happy to see your face.
I am happy to be here. I was like, I
Yay.
didn't know where to go. I didn't have a link before.
Sorry. I thought I sent it earlier. Oh, you guys, this is my dear friend Tamara, and we'll do a formal introduction in a second. But Tamara is like a magical worker, and if you start to cry today, know that you are just releasing so much goodness, right? I cry. I don't think I've ever been in Tamara's presence and not cried.
Like, I don't know if that's like something that I had a testimonial from somebody that I worked with once, and they said that they were like, while a video was recording, they're like, I cry if she looks at me. I'm like, I don't know if that's something I want to put up on places. That is, but it's just in a beautiful way. It really is in a full reflection of your inner self way.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to really quick put in our Facebook group, starting now. We had another poll a few hours ago that was lovely. And I know people were wanting to make this call as well, but as I mentioned to you, this will be evergreened in our program. So everyone who is not able to make it today, who's in the program now currently, and everyone who will ever sign up for the future, for the lifetime of this awesome Have It All, will get to hear you and get to hear about how to move into our body, right? Because that is what promotes so much healing.
It's the first place of healing, I truly believe.
The first place of healing. See, I'm so excited to talk to you about this. I was telling Diana and Nancy on our last call that when I moved into my body, when you helped me, like it was like this supercharged healing that happened all of a sudden. So we'll dive into that for sure. But let me just, too many tabs open. Join Tamara.
Nancy, I have to tell you, I have that exact same sweatshirt, and I've never seen it on somebody, like that Lulu hoodie that Nancy's wearing. I'm like, oh my goodness, I own that one too.
That's awesome.
So it's just kind of neat, because now I get to see how good it looks.
Looks good. Jazzy.
They're so great, those hoodies. They're so warm and so amazing. Are you Canadian, Nancy?
No.
How?
It's getting cold in the States.
Did Lululemon start in Canada? I thought it started in Canada, in British Columbia, and then worked its way down to the States.
I think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian, just obviously now that I've thrown that out there. So.
The truth is out.
I feel like I'm actually looking kind of like a Canadian flag in my Choose Love shirt today. So
I love it. Awesome. Well, let's get this party started. If people join, awesome. Otherwise, we'll send, oh, here comes Kim. We will send out the replay. Hi, Kim. Welcome. So, you guys, I am so excited for Tamara to be here. Tamara Arnold is what I like to call a magic worker. She is the founder of the Magical Business Academy. And I was saying earlier in our call that while you work with a lot of people around their businesses, right? The first book you wrote, My Kid's Driving Me Crazy, was all about helping bring caregivers back into their bodies. And when we have a chronic ailment, you know, whether it's stress or a physical chronic ailment, chronic anxiety, depression, a behavioral condition, right? Then we want to leave our bodies so often. And I don't know, Tamara, you can address this, but to me, it felt like a lot of it was because I didn't have a good relationship with my body. I had a lot of resentment and anger and frustration, and it was like, peace out. I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to be in my body. And so when Tamara helped me move into my body, which she's going to help all of you do today, what happened was not only, oops, why is that echo happening? Not only did I have, are you guys hearing that feedback?
Yes.
Okay, let's just have everyone mute themselves real quick, if you would.
Perfect.
Louise, if you could mute yourself too, that would be great. Not only did I have really supercharged healing, but that was the beginning of my authentic creation, authentic relationship with my body. Like before, I was like, I hated it. I went through all these stages of disliking, hating, my body. And then I was like, oh no, I love you, body. But it was forced. It wasn't authentic. It wasn't real. And it was when I came into my body that I authentically began the journey of creating a new, beautiful relationship with my body where I feel like it is my soul partner. It is my soul partner in life. And we are here showing up for each other, doing this together. And it's so exciting to have that by my side. It's amazing.
Big time.
So Tamara, I'm going to let you, we can chat more, but I kind of want you to just introduce yourself a bit more and talk about how this relates to the type of energy work that you do. Like how do we pull all of this together? Okay. Someone said, I'm going to miss your movement class. And I was like, movement class? Am I doing a movement class? Oh, we're moving into our body. Oh, it's energy, not yeah. and we have some participants whose children also have autism, and some, can really relate to your story. So maybe you could share a little bit about that as well.
Which is where I'm being guided to start a little bit with my story is like, so I, just on a side note, I am an energy, like everything to me is, I speak in energy, I speak in feelings, and I speak a language that not everybody does. So you're going to hear me talk about emotions a lot. And so when I was born to a mom who had severe depression. And by the time I was 10 years old, I began the journey outside of myself as the daughter who wanted to make her mom feel better, right? So I started to almost like leave my personal well-being, my thoughts, my feelings, what my desires were, what my needs were, and everything else to take care of my mom. I can remember legitimately like getting allowances and going to the store and buying things for her to try and like Christmas money, you name it, to bring her emotional state higher. And so after so long of that, of course, at some point, I'm so out of myself, I don't know what to do. So I basically moved out when I was 17 years old, right? But I moved in with my sister, and my sister also had depression. And so now I'm in a different location, but I'm still trying to support somebody that I love, their mood, their capabilities, their functioning. And so again, I could only do that for so long, and I really ran away the second time. I didn't literally run away, but I went to Brazil for a year. And that was the most incredible experience of my life on a Rotary Exchange when I was 17, because it separated me. It disconnected the connection that I had to everybody else and that I was here to solve and make them feel better and make them happy. And for 10 months of my life, I started to figure out who Tamara was again. Right? When I got home from Brazil was a fascinating social experiment because everything in my life had changed, except I felt the same. Like I had had this growth period, but nothing was the same. And so I left, and I didn't understand what love was at that point, right? Because love came with the condition that I had to take exceptional care of other people and be responsible for their health and well-being. And so I thought the logical thing to do was to get pregnant really early, like at the age of 19, and have my own baby. Because then I would make my own version of love, and this would solve all my problems, right? And it just so happened that I had a child that ended up having extremely, extremely high needs. He had severe mental illness. He had oppositional defiance disorder. He had depression. He had anxiety, marijuana abuse disorder. You can kind of place him in a bucket of having a lot of behavioral issues, and it was a real struggle. Right? And what happened is that I became so conditioned to leave my body to support my son. Right? Because being inside myself it made me sad. Like I had guilt. I really did. I had a whole bunch of emotion that didn't feel good. I made this child, and he's, you know, not what I expected, and he's causing harm to himself and to others, and I've got to fix this problem. And I felt sadness, and I felt all of these emotions that were really hard for me to work through and to go through by myself. I didn't know how. Right? But I can tell you, the number one thing anytime I went in was like, I felt like I had failed when I was in my body. I failed my mom, I failed my sister, and I definitely felt like I failed my son. And so when I talk about physically leaving the body, we leave because there is an emotion that's going on within us, whether we don't like our body. So like if we have a body image, right? And we're just like, and you'll know this because you won't even be able to look at yourself in the mirror. If you pass by mirrors and you're not even looking at yourself in the eye, then you're not present within yourself to see yourself, to feel yourself, to know yourself, right? In
Oh,
Jenny's
wow. Okay.
right? But like even in you're like shit. And then like in Jenny's case, like when I met Jenny, like when we have illness, right? So you had, you know, an autoimmune disorder, or you have, you know, I had parasites, or you've had, you know, Lyme disease, or something's going on in your body, and you feel like your body has failed you, right? Like, and it makes me emotional thinking about that. Like if your body has let you down,
Mm-hmm.
right, on that level, you don't even want to be within your, like you don't want to be in to feel all that. We leave because the emotion is too great within us to go through unpacking and feeling. And it's not uncommon, and it is not something to feel bad about, or like I'm doing something wrong, because at some point we've all done it. I did it for years and years and years and years and years, like 37, 38 years of my life, right? Because it feels like it should be easier out there, because then we don't have to know what's going on, or to feel the feelings, or to think about what we may have done right or wrong, or to, you know, unpack. I always say we have 7 floors of our energetic house. Just so if you hear me say unpack, I truly break it down into, we have 7 floors within us. Some people call them the chakras, just for this space. I really, each floor houses certain feelings and emotions that we would then, over the course of our lives, collect different energies based on our life experience, events that have happened, you know, relationships that we've had, and we can clutter up our internal space as well. Right? And if we've become a hoarder of things that have happened to us that we're not willing to sort through, then we legitimately become like a hoarder's house. There's nowhere for us to be inside here either. And there's another way that we just can't even physically, energetically find the space within us to be. Right? And then we're going to talk about how to clear this up in a way that feels really, really easy. Because and this is another knowing factor, you guys, if you ever feel, and this is a really strong awareness, because if you can get this awareness, then you have solved so many things. If you are in a space where it feels like you are running in circles all the time, everything feels like chaos and confusion. It feels like nothing that you ever do ever gets you to the result, or things are just like constantly happening and you can't catch up. That is the exact way that you will know that you are not present within yourself. Because there is only chaos and confusion when you are outside. Because
it's like spinning. You're just spinning in circles.
Yeah. And so when you come in energetically, so like I will do an exercise with you guys to start the process of coming within today. So like no matter what, we're going in. So you can have that awareness of what it feels like to be in. And I do, because I'm an energy reader, I can feel some anxiousness coming on, and I swear to you, I'm the nicest person in the land. But I get in some people that have like the little shaky shakes and the little tummy issues of like, oh my goodness, going on. But when we ground into our bodies, into like this knowing, our deeper sense of being, who we are, when we're within ourselves, everything has a solution. Nothing is overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
That is the big significant difference.
We gain clarity.
We gain clarity, and nothing external will be able to affect us. right? So you hear those stories of people that are just like, oh, my day is terrible, but I feel like not like, you know what I mean? I can see it all happening in front of me, and I don't think it's a bad day. I can find the gift in everything, right? Because when we're actually grounded within ourselves, there is no confusion, there is no chaos. There's only solutions and answers.
So good. Such a good reminder.
Right? The chaos is an external thing. It's like when I met Jenny. Can I tell the Jenny Carr story?
Tell my story. I'm an open book here.
Right? So like, but one of the biggest ways that when I jumped in your energy and we were talking, and even before we got into that space of grounding you in, was we knew how out of your body you were, because I had said to you, your picture on your profile is like so many years old that you're not even right connecting to who you are in this moment. So right.
Yeah, I had before I had gotten sick, I had a picture of me, and then during my sick illness, I had gained 70 or 80 pounds. Some of you may have heard me talk about this before. And so I was sick, and I gained a bunch of weight because all the neurotoxins released so much, my body couldn't process them. And when that happens, it creates fat reservoirs to push the toxins away from your organs to keep you safe. It's a survival mechanism. And I was full of shame, like shame that I was sick and I gained weight when I help other people feel better and lose weight. And I didn't think anyone would want to work with me. And more than that, I was afraid of what they were thinking of me. Like more than even working with me, I was afraid even going to the post office. And I live in a tiny town. I would put sunglasses on and hide under a hood, like I didn't want anyone to see me, to know me. I was living in a hole. And then Tamara made me come out. And that's when when I shared my story, everyone was like, oh my gosh, I connect with you. I get it. I understand you. And to be quite honest, that was like the beginning of my business growing very quickly, and people saying like, ooh, I relate to you. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah. Right.
So it was all a story in my mind that people were going to judge us. And we create so many stories. We project and predict what other people are thinking or other situations when we don't know the truth, right? We don't know the truth. And I really had two options: continue staying out of my body and experiencing the fear that I was putting on myself because I thought other people would think about me a certain way, or try it a different way, move into my body and see what happens. Like it's really simple, two choices.
Right. And it was it was so miraculous, right? Like it was so miraculous. Jenny Carr was the first experience I had too, like, because I was just coming into really being a full reader at that time, that I experienced at the same time as her the entering of energy into the body. So it is a true thing that we can physically, energetically leave our body and come in. But I do want to have right now, I want to do something with you guys, just to come into your bodies. All right. So I want you to take your hands and just place them on your stomach. All right? Because just that is where our third floor of our energetic body is, which is our belief in ourselves, right? And so we're going to place a warm hand, like it's a loving hand, onto our solar plexus. And then with the other hand, I want you to just kind of breathe in. And as you're breathing in, I want you to imagine your essence or your being like a balloon just above your head. All right. And I want you to close your eyes. And so nobody's looking at each other, so that we don't even have to have like that weird awkwardness. And with the opposing hand that's on your belly, I want you to just pull that string of that balloon and imagine the balloon coming physically into your body, your being, your essence. And imagine it traveling down, down, down till it's just behind where your hand is on your belly. So sink yourself into your body fully. Get yourself right down as if you're giving a high five to the opposite side of that hand. And one of the things that I want to tell you while we're here is I want you to just breathe in. And not only are you coming fully in, I want you to think about anyone or anything that has been on your mind all day. And I want you to imagine that they've been holding on to a piece of your energy. And you're going to actually breathe in that energy from them that they've been holding on to. And with gratitude, you can say thank you, but you're just going to breathe that part of yourself back in. Amazing. And so just take a couple breaths thinking about the people that you worry about or that you think about. Graciously thanking them for holding on to those parts of you, but breathing them in. Good. Now I want you to imagine from the ceiling, almost like a cylinder coming down. Kind of think of it like a straw, but clear, and you are going to be in the center of that. And allow this clear cylinder to come down and just travel over your body and touch the ground. And as it's doing this, it is releasing you from any thoughts, feelings, and emotions of others that you might be tied to today, so that you can be fully present for the rest of this call with your energy for you as a priority for yourself with nobody else. Because here in this moment, in this time, it's about you. It's about your energy. It's about how amazing you are. And we're just going to open ourselves up in this beautiful, safe cylinder to receive whatever it is that you guys are here to receive. Because I truly believe that when we're open and we open ourselves up, fully present within ourselves, there is always an exchange in which we will both walk away having gone, wow, I'm so glad I was here. And so just allow that cylinder to go back up into the sky, into the ceiling, up into the heavens, to the universe. Take another deep breath in, feeling yourself grounded into this moment, into this call here together, fully present for yourself in your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So it's a really cool experience when I can feel certain people coming back into their body, and I know when certain people haven't been, right? And what I actually want to do, just to help you guys have awareness, is this is a beautiful space when you're within, is that I can be, Jenny, I don't know if it's okay if I just kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on in your energy. So you have this awareness, right? Because if there's something going on inside of you that you don't know about energetically, that I can shed some light on, right? To help you, support you in any way with an emotion or feeling, so that, you know what I mean, you have more grace with yourself for staying within and not leaving if things start to get overwhelming. Because I know that it's like a preset program that us humans have. It's like, oh, this is a lot. I'm out. Like, oh, you know, with Ethan, every day he had a behavior, right? Every day there was something going on. And it was far easier to get lost in saying I had to fix him than it was to fix myself. I can promise you, since going within and doing the work from myself, my son is in a completely different space.
And so is your body, isn't it?
My body, you guys, the other thing is like when you come in and you're aware of your human self, you know, we get caught in the, you know, when this happens, then I'll be able to do this. Like, you know what I mean? When my son goes off to college, then there won't be this food in the house and I'll be able to feel better. When, you know, the kids are, you know, on the bus, then I'll be able to, you know, there's like this thing that happens, and that's that circle, that's the wheel. When you're making a when this happens, then I'll be able to eat healthier or have whatever. That's not the answer. The answer is actually inside. It's all right now. It's all in this moment. It's all with being present to hear what your body needs, as opposed to putting a condition of when somebody else has control over the outcome by when it could be all done. Who here has done that, right? When this happens, I'll be able to focus on that better or this better, right? Like how many times do we do that, like on anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But anytime we do that, we're physically giving ourselves out of our body to say that person has control over my outcome, over what's happening, over anything. So when you actually take the time to do the work to go in and feel or unpack or to truly know yourself, right? And I mean, I want to take it back to the basics here. And I even want to say to each and everybody on the call and who listens to this, I would start with ground one. And ground floor one to get in is here, right? It's at your eye level. And so getting to that space of looking yourself in the eye in the mirror is the first phase of fully coming in, right? Like to be able to look at yourself in the eyes and say like, ooh, I love you. I love you just the way you are. Like you don't need to be any different. You don't need to look any different. You don't need to have anything different. You don't need to have a different hair color, makeup on. You don't need to shower, right? I love you just as you are. And you begin that process of being present to see yourself. You're taking the time to go in and start the process of listening to yourself. And when you get into listening to yourself and feeling, because inflammation in itself, guys, I lived in inflammation because I was outside of my body dealing with my son. The stress and anxiety caused me to drink. The drinking caused more inflammation, which meant I didn't want to go in. And then the inflammation takes over, right? And inflammation, when it takes over, it's always hungry. Inflammation is always hungry for more things that cause inflammation. Right? And we're so disconnected and disassociated, we feed the inflammation. We don't listen to what our body needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when you go inside your body and you start to recognize that that's actually a discomfort, the inflammation is uncomfortable. It's not even whether it's healthy or not, like it physically is uncomfortable for you to be in that space. And then you start to say what's causing the inflammation. Like, I won't lie, I'm an open book for you all. I used alcohol as a means to A, because I'm an empath, not feel the emotions of others, and B, I used alcohol because my life was chaos because my son was a intense child, high maintenance parenting right there. Like it was high needs all the time. And 10 months ago, I was so present. I quit drinking completely. Right? Because I was listening to what my body asked for, and it said, Tamara, enough. I want to feel better. I want to be a vessel for your gift. I want to be able to serve at a better level. I want to be a higher support to your children and to your partner, right? And that was where my body asked me to go. But when you're listening, you can hear it. But I can tell you, inflammation sure has a loud voice. Yeah, inflammation can yell and yell and yell at you. So like,
the question is, do you listen?
Do
you follow through with what it asks?
Right? Who does anybody want? I'm not going to go in and say anything that, listen, your energy. To help you understand what this is about is that when I connect with you, your energy will use my body to talk to you. So anything that I say is really coming through you, through my body. So I'm going to look like Tamara the human, but I'm really just referring to something that's going on that you're asking to hear. And chances are you already know it. It's not going to be a blind sight. It's not going to be something that you're going to be like, oh, she's saying something I don't know. The thing is, you're going to go like, oop, I know this, and now she's just bringing that information to me. And if not, I will just go through the 7 floors of the energetic house to help you understand how to get back in. Right? So, all right, Diana.
You guys are trained well. We did a call yesterday, and I was like, all right, just if you want to go, right in line in the chat, and you guys just nailed that one.
Diana, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I truly, truly am. By the way, I love all your energies. Just get that out of the way. So what I'm going to ask Diana is it okay if I merge energy with you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's going to happen is nothing fun. I wish there were fireworks that go on. I just am already sharing energetic space with you. While you are a head thinker, my goodness, you're in your head all the time. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like it almost gives me a headache. Your thoughts are like it's that intense. Okay, so I'm just gonna sink in and I'm just gonna tell you the first thing. So like I already know that if we were to think about coming fully in our body, the first phase that they have to get through is the thoughts, right? Like to fully come in, and we're chaotic and it's heavy. They're heavy thoughts. You're afraid to say things. So I can feel it all up in here. Right? So I can tell you right now that, right, there's three things that's tied in here energetically that this is why it's easier to be out than in. Okay? Because it's three things. It's your solar plexus, right? This is where our belief in ourselves comes from, right? It's your throat, and it's here, right? But here you think about what you say, you think about, you know what I mean, which then affects how you see, like your belief in yourself, right?
Mhm.
Okay. The thought that's in here, the underlying. So I want you to write this down because I want you to know that this isn't a true statement, but I can hear it in here. It's you saying, like, what really is what's keeping you from being in here is the feeling that I don't know what to do.
Absolutely.
Okay, and the reason I'm telling you to write it down is because I need you to get it out of your physical body, because it's not a true statement. That's how that statement, anytime you have that thought, Diana, anytime you say I don't know what to do, I want that to be the awareness that you're going to put your hand on your belly, you're going to take a deep breath, you're going to come in, right? And you're going to ask yourself that question from inside, because you will always know what to do.
Wow.
All right. Do you have any questions?
I am an expert at not being inside of myself. I've been a single mom for 20 some odd years of 5 kids.
Is that all? No, I'm just kidding.
And 2 of them are on the autistic spectrum. I left a narcissistic, abusive marriage. And in order to survive all of this, I felt like I had to disconnect completely. I had to pour all of myself and all my energies into my children, into survival. And like I said, I'm an expert at not being in here at all.
Okay, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send you My Kid is Driving Me Crazy. All right, so send me a message or we can put it up in the group, but I know that this will help you come in. It's my first book, My Kid is Driving Me Crazy, a Mom's Survival Guide for Living with a Child with Mental Illness, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing, living with any high needs child. And the whole book is designed to help you come within yourself, okay?
Wow. I don't know what to do is my mantra.
Believe me, I can hear it loud and clear in here. Like it is like...
I have all these kids, they have all these needs. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Right, but we need to choose an answer. So that's what I mean when I say, whenever you say that, you're not allowed to say it anymore. This is the key. Like that, I don't know. Every time you have that thought, I don't know what to do. That's like the warning that says, Diana, it's time to go in and ask that question. Right, so awareness is the open book to easy. It really is. So it's not like, oh, I'm out of my body again and I should feel guilty and bad because I've stepped out of my body again. That's not the thought process. It's, oh, I'm so glad I've caught this, because your default thought is, I don't know what to do, which is that's the sign that you go like, oh, yes, I've just caught that I'm outside of my body.
Okay.
Right? And so you're going to do the breath. You're going to imagine you're just going to imagine yourself coming back in, and you're going to say, what do I need to do? And whatever you hear, whatever that first answer is, that's what you do. Don't let the mind get involved, Diana.
Drive myself crazy in there. Wow.
I've heard, Tamara, that within the first 3 seconds, when that thought hits, when we say, what do I need to do? It's like that really, really quick, right away, we hear it.
You
right?
do. Yep.
Whether we acknowledge it and accept it can be a different thing.
Really? 3 seconds?
Oh my goodness, it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
listen, and then, Diana, you have a lot of thoughts. So, like, you've got to be willing to take that first one before the rest of them get involved.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow. That's amazing. This is amazing.
We'll grab, Tamara, if it's okay, we'll grab the links, or a way for them to grab, a way for them to get a copy of your book on the.
Yes, either one of my books, right? So I have one that's for moms who have children with mental illness, and I have another one that explains your 7 floors of your energetic house, right? And it'll tell you the resistance that you'll feel, like you'll know when it's out because this is happening, right?
Yeah.
And that will help you know which floor to go to do the deeper dive, clean, unpack. I think of Marie Kondo tidying up. That's what you're going to do on the inside of your body. You're going to like pull up all the thoughts or the feelings or the events and says, does this spark joy? No. Thank you. Goodbye. Right? And you're going to create the space that you're going to want to live in inside your body.
Yes.
Thank
All
you.
right, friend?
Thank you.
No problem. So let's take a little thing. Nancy Clavins. Nice. I just cut cords with people. All right, Nancy, you're gonna have to unmute. I think you're in 2 spots, so you just have to unmute one.
Okay.
There we go. How are you today?
Good.
Perfect. Is it okay if I jump into your energy and see what's going on?
Okay.
All right. So I'm looking to answer the question, why would I be leaving my body, right? Like the sensation or the feeling. Okay, I can't lie. The first thing I feel is like a pain, a low back pain. I'm just gonna say that right off the bat. All right. Nancy, do you hold your breath a lot?
I was told back in my 20s when I went to a doctor and they did one of those breath tests. They told me to stop smoking. I had never smoked.
You don't breathe.
I breathe very shallowly and often don't breathe at all.
Yeah. Right. So I want to explain to you breathing because our heart is our physical. Obviously, it's our physical life force. It beats for us, right? But our breath is like our energetic heart beat, right? So it allows us to receive and it allows us to give. All right. So this allows me to understand that there's been a long time that you haven't really been fully present within your physical body because of the fact that you're not taking. So I'm going to read into this just a little bit more if you don't mind. So like I keep getting pulled down to your root chakra. So the root chakra is grounding into who I am and like what I'm here to do. And when the root chakra is out, it's governed by these things, okay? Which is fear of judgment, seeking approval, people pleasing, and not having clear boundaries. And it's interesting because when I'm saying these kinds of things, it affects your heart. Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like I can feel the heart feeling like you feel very responsible for others. You feel like, you know what I mean? Like all those kinds of things.
I'm laughing. All true.
And so imagine, if you will, right? Our heart is our, it's like the storage container to receive whatever it is that we're meant to have in our lives. It's like the more we can empty our heart, the more space we have, like to like breathe in new experiences, new opportunities, the ability to stay committed to ourselves, like all sorts of things, like really allowing in. So I'm just going to say this to everybody, and then I'm going to come to you, Nancy, but like I really want you to think about your breath for a second. And if you are, the first way that you're going to know that you're able to receive for yourself is if you can receive a compliment. Right? If you can receive a compliment, Nancy's like, okay. Right?
I'm the one who's always like, please don't thank me. Please don't thank me. It's not me. It's something you did that I helped.
Right? Which is, I can tell that, because there's nothing else. Your heart is so full with all the things that you feel responsible for, the people that you care for, all of that to bring anything else in, there's no room here. And that's why there's no inhale, because your heart is already full, and the exhale is very, very thin as well. So I want to get in here because it's all tied to the root chakra, which is the people in your life and your connectors, our foundational people, all that kind of stuff. The thing is, Nancy, is that when your heart's this full, you also get really tired. Right? It's really tiring. And sometimes when the heart gets this full, we feel like, oh, I do so much for so many other people. Why can't they? We don't want to have those thoughts, but those thoughts come up because, it just feels like we give, and then there's not a lot of return. But the thing is there's no return because we're tired because our heart's so full, right? So if I were to say to you, how do we get to that space for you to receive, to come fully back into your body, to be able to be present for Nancy, right? Here's what I'm going to ask you to do, and it's going to seem really strange, but if you trust me, it's going to make a world of difference. All right? So I'm going to suggest that you think about every single person in your life, like every single person that you love, that you care for, that you feel responsible for, that, during a day would come through your mind, everything. Okay? And I want you to imagine them as like physically you're removing them from your heart. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't love them. That is the polar opposite of what I'm trying to say here, but we need to create space for you to be able to come in here and do this work for you. And so in order for you to come in and do this work for you, you need to take the people who have been squatting in your beautiful beach house all of this time and tell them they have to leave, and they can come back and visit anytime that they like, but that you need to create the space within this beach house, clean it, and make it yours. Right? And the beach house is obviously your heart. And so you're just going to ask everybody to leave one by one with love. You say, I love you. I care for you. This is because I love you that I'm asking you to leave, so that I can be of a higher quality Nancy when you come back to visit. And so sometimes I imagine people just being bubbles, and people come out of my heart as bubbles, and they float back up into the sky, into the universe, into God, into wherever it is that they go. Right? And if you do this, if you imagine all of these people coming out of your heart, you will be able to take a deeper breath, I promise you. Right? And even I would say, because you've been in this way, to do it a couple times in a month, like maybe even say for 1 month, I'm going to do it once a week. I'm going to visualize these people leaving my heart 4 weeks in a row, Mondays at 9 a.m., whatever it is. Right? Why not? What do you have to lose?
Right.
What if at the end of that, you can take a deeper breath than you've ever taken in your life? I would love for you to come back and tell me that story.
Okay.
And when you can take a deeper breath into your heart, you're going to be able to come fully back present for you, and you're going to allow yourself to receive compliments, and you're going to allow yourself to have a whole bunch of things that maybe you haven't been allowing yourself to have up until now.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem, Jenny Carr. What were you going to say?
Well, I just want to speak to the physiological benefit too of taking a deep breath. So Ozone is a method of like an alternative treatment method that they do to treat Lyme. As you know, probably Nancy and Kim or not Kim, sorry, Katie, everyone else who has experienced Lyme, neurotoxins, hyperbaric chamber is oxygen, ozone therapy through the IVs, through all different ways. And all that is oxygen that we're trying to go into our body. The average person uses only the top third of their lungs. And I imagine, Nancy, yours is even less than that, right? So if in the medical world, giving us oxygen helps us heal, helps to remove inflammation, helps to regenerate the cells in our body, then we have this incredible ability to choose deeper breaths and bring the oxygen in whenever we want, right? But if it's difficult to do that because there's this energy block, undoing that and allowing yourself to breathe deeply is a form of treatment, of alternative healing that we can just do anytime throughout the day. So it's so powerful. It's simple, but so powerful.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the simplest things to do, by the way. Like, that is how I roll. Like, it's going to feel super easy and you're going to say, it's too easy. Honest to good gracious, that was one of the things Jenny Carr said. She was like, Tamara, you just made things so simple. And I was like, yeah, well, that's because it is super simple. We as humans make things hard. Everything is really easy until we get involved, right? Because when we get in a state of flow and ease, do we not all do that? We're like, I should complicate this, or I should figure like something's going to go wrong or something's going to happen, right? So we manifest like something going wrong because we're uncomfortable with things being really super easy and wonderful.
Or we tell ourselves that it has to be harder. Like I remember so many people telling me I was out of my body. And when you told me that again, I was like, oh my God. Like I remember almost rolling my eyes at you and being like, I know I'm out of my body. I've hired all these people to try to help me get into my body. It is not working. So Tamara, what are you going to do different? And you said, you just make a choice. And I remember carrying my laptop. I was walking on my back patio and I was like, oh, okay, 1 second. And I sat it down and I closed my eyes and I took 3 deep breaths and I saw like the balloon. I was like, okay, bring it in, make the choice. I am making a conscious choice to do this. And then I actually saw the storage container with the latches, you know, I actually saw like myself latch into my body and like it went in. And I was like, okay, I'm done. And I didn't think I told you that. You were just like, whoa, you just moved into your body.
Did you feel that? That was meant.
And all I did was make a conscious choice. Yeah. Versus waiting, like trying to get other practitioners to do it for me. That never worked. I needed to make the conscious choice. Just had to ask.
Yeah. Right. So like when I'm saying things, guys, it's going to seem really, really simple, right? Like the awareness or the whatever to just take these people out of my heart. Like imagine them leaving my heart to create the space to be able to take a deep breath. No, really, it can be that easy. Choose easy, please. That's always the best way. Did you have any questions, Nancy?
How long do you think this will take?
I'm telling you, like, for me, because you have the capacity to feel for others, right? That's just part of who you are. So you are a collector of other people's feelings by nature, Nancy. So when I'm saying spend the first month and just like empty for 4 weeks straight, it's to getting into the habit. I do this practice at least once a month now. Because I automatically just take people's energy, and even when I'm not even even when I'm protecting myself or not even trying and all that kind of stuff. So it's like I did a blog on it, not a blog, a podcast called Brushing Your Teeth for Empaths, but it's for anyone who's sensitive. And so heart clearing and cord cutting is just part of the process to stay in a state where we're not going into discomfort, such as a heavy heart, right? Like. It's almost like I feel like you do this because your heart's so heavy, right? And so, yeah, do it consistently for the first month. And then if you just do it monthly, it will keep that space open for you to breathe.
It's interesting that you refer to a heavy heart because I carry a lot of sadness about others.
Yeah, I can feel like you hold other people's emotions. I can feel it in your heart.
Yeah.
right? But that's not yours to carry. And that's why it's so important that you, and I know that you've done this since you were little. This is not a new thing that you've been doing. And so being able to start the practice of letting go of that which isn't yours to carry will create that openness in your breathing.
Okay, thank you.
Am I going to go over time here, Jenny? Is this like a...
Well, I have until, let's see here, Eastern Standard Time, 5:45 at the very latest. So we have a little bit more time. But I want to say something or ask you something, Tamara.
Yeah.
For other people that are listening to this right now and they're like, ooh, I relate with Nancy's story. Can it do any harm to do the practice that you're sharing?
No, never. Like if you're connecting to something, and I always say, like, that's the neatest thing about being within yourself, right? Is if you're listening and something's resonating, that's a sign for you. Like that's your physical, your body. That's when we start listening and going like, ooh, that's exactly how my heart's feeling. Or, oh yeah, no, I also think, I don't know what to do. Be aware of, like, your body's trying to signal to you. That's when we're coming within and hearing.
Amazing. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. I think
Thank you for asking, because I was just keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know who the next person was. Katie. I don't see Katie. It's a black screen. Oh, there's a hand.
You're muted, sweetie. You're muted, Katie.
I think she's trying. I can see her hand. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Can you do it on a black screen, Tamara?
Sure can, Katie. I sure can. Your energy is your energy in your body. I used to do them over the phone. I still can do them over the phone. I don't need to necessarily see you.
Awesome.
So is it okay if I come into, I'm just going to cut with Nancy, and is it okay if I come into your energy, Katie?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have the filter system, and your body is using me to say things. So, like, please no. I figured because you raised your hand, it's okay I say anything.
Yes.
Very nervous and scared in here, by nature.
Yes.
Okay. So, like, I'm gonna say the word paralyzed by fear, and I mean this like as like a that's what's coming through, but I want you to understand that I'm not saying that. Hold on, let me sink in, because I'm not even going to change that mind up unless I'm sinking in a little bit. Okay, first of all, my hands are freezing when I get into your energy, Katie.
My hands are freezing too.
They're freezing, okay? Okay, so Katie, you're not necessarily fully present in your body even now when we're having this conversation, okay? So I want you to be aware of that, because I don't get a lot of sensation and emotion. I'm just really scared. I'm really nervous about things could go wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like all the things, okay?
Yep.
So can I give you something to say to yourself?
Yes.
And I just want you to say it, and say it even when you don't believe it in the beginning.
Okay.
All right. And if you can say it when you don't believe it, and you say it enough, eventually you're going to start to believe it. And I don't want you to feel nervous. I feel like I'm making you super anxious here. I'm getting a little bit nervous here when I'm like, what is she going to make me say? But all I want you to say is, I trust that everything's going to be okay.
Now you're making me cry.
I have a habit of doing that. Right? Because that's the fear.
Yeah.
So you're thinking it, and I can already feel you coming in a little bit more into your body here. I trust that everything's going to be okay. You may have to practice breathing when you say it, Katie, because you're holding your breath pretty strongly right now.
It was kind of funny because when you said you're saying it to yourself and I can feel you relaxing, and I kind of felt that, and then all of a sudden I just felt it well up from down below again.
Right, and so that's what I mean when you're just going to say it and you're going to practice breathing into it, and just, you might not, like I say, you're not going to necessarily believe it when you first start saying it to yourself, okay? It'll be like, I don't believe it, but the words, it's really powerful, and you're just going to keep saying, I trust that everything's going to be okay, and breathe. Allow it in, and then repeat it again. Trust that everything's going to be okay, and then breathe. And you keep practicing that. And that's the first thing that you need to do in order to come in here and feel safe. We're getting some tingling going on, Katie. Interesting.
Yeah, my fingers are starting to tingle.
That's good. Your hands are getting warmer, actually. Right?
Yep.
It's a lot more cool things happen on the inside when we're in there to be present for it. Right? Including our hands get warmer when we're inside. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you. I think I know what I need to do now.
Thank you. So I'm just going to cut with Katie, and I know that there's one more and we have time for Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Right? It's like there's nobody else saying in line. Everybody who's in line, you're like, oh my goodness, my name's up there, so she's going to talk to me. But then everybody else is like, how are you?
Good.
I'm good. Is it okay if I come into your energy?
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to sink in a little bit and see what we got going on here. You clench your teeth.
Yes.
So I can feel that right away. So I just say the things as I'm feeling them, right? And so the sensation that I get in here is that you have this belief of being an observer, right? You're present for things, but not necessarily present for things. You're always like the only way I can explain it is that like I'm observing what's going on, not necessarily taking a part with everything that's going on. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So I'm just talking, when you see me looking away, guys, energy has no form, and I'm actually talking to your energy. So it might seem really strange, but I'm having a conversation with your energetic body. And so when I'm over here and I'm like, okay, right? So there is that sensation, Kim, the reason why like the clenching of the teeth, right, is it's almost like I don't trust my words. Like I don't trust what I'm saying. So I clench to hold them in, right? That's the sensation in here. Followed by your energy say, well, no one wants to hear what I have to say anyway, which isn't true. But like if that thought came through,
That is how I feel.
I know it's how you feel. I know it's how you feel, right? So I get why you're pulling back. I get why you're, you know what I mean? Like not. So again, there's something I want you to say to yourself. To start the process of coming fully in, right? And it's so simple. Again, everything I say, guys, is going to be really simple. And because I think that there's a really important thing that needs to happen here. And Kim, can you say to yourself, every day, but can you say it in the mirror? Like, I really want you to look at yourself, because you've spent so much time pulling away into this observing state and not being fully present, to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I choose me.
Yes. I choose me.
Right? It's time. Definitely time. Your energy's right on board. It's like, fuck yeah, sorry, I don't know if you swear, but that's what your energy said to me. So like, I'm just saying. It was like, yeah, let's do this. Right? You're ready. You are so ready.
Somebody actually posted a quote on my Facebook page when I saw Jenny not long after that on my Facebook page with the class, and it was about opting to jump, you know, and I saw Jenny's thing and I said, well, I'm opting to jump this year. Let's go.
Yeah, no, like, you're ready. Like, we're doing this. We're doing this, right? So you like, but you gotta like, it's like, I just want to like come all the way out, right? So not feel like you have to hold back what you're saying or do whatever. Like, you're like all in, like, I'm doing this. Like, I choose me. Right? So when you go to say that thing and you're thinking whatever, no, you choose yourself. You're going to choose you.
Okay.
Right? So you get into that, looking yourself in the eye and saying, I choose me. It's definitely going to be a start to fully coming present in to do this work for you. It's like, your energy's funny. I love your sense of humor. It is very fantastic. Right? Because if you're thinking in your head, like, oh, I'm not going to say this because nobody's going to listen to me anyway, and then you say instead, I choose me, right? You're saying it for you. You're not saying it for the other person at that point. You're saying it because it needs to be said. You're saying it because it needs to, like, no more clenching. Like, you're not going to hold back what you're saying, right? You're going to choose you. It doesn't mean to be really mean. I don't want you to be mean. I don't want anyone to be mean. It doesn't mean like saying mean things. Right? But like, I want to say this to you, Kim, and I'm going to say it to everybody, but like, of all our 7 floors of our energy, right? We have 7. Our throat chakra is the only floor that is an exit, meaning everything that we're holding within us or we're feeling within us, the only way that it has to leave our body is through our throat chakra, through our words, or through what we write, so journaling or speaking. Other than that, there's no exit. There's energy will stay within us, right? And energy without having, did we lose? No, there's energy without having, because everything switched. Energy without having an exit, it becomes something, right? It has to find a home somewhere, and it might find its home as causing, chronic sinusitis or tonsillitis or colds or flus or all of those kinds of things, right? Thyroid, different ways that it'll manifest, right? And so what I want with you is to know that. I want you to know that, because you clench your teeth and you hold in, right?
Yes.
Whereas, you know what I mean? You have the capacity to choose you and just say things with thoughtful meaning and love. Like, think of like, I'm choosing me, and I'm saying this lovingly because I'm choosing to get this out of my body. Your teeth are clenched. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, Kim, so often people who have a thyroid imbalance is directly correlated to not speaking your voice. Like, that's what Tamara's sharing. And Tamara, what you don't know is that when we just did our group call, Kim was saying that she has all the symptoms for a thyroid imbalance, thyroid condition, but all the doctors say it's normal. But so we're tying this piece here together.
And I just took medicine last week for sinus infection. How about that?
Right? Again, like, this is your message for you, from spirit, from me, from your energy, from everything, right? Is like, even if you can't get it out right now verbally, write it down. Write your thoughts, feelings. I don't know if you journal, but get into the habit of getting it out, because this will stop the clenching, which will release this from your body, which will help with all the other things.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Guys, you guys have to understand that it is such a gift when you open up energetically to allow me in, because I know that it's vulnerable, and it's like, you know, I feel things, I know things. It's all the things, right? So I'm graciously honored, and I'm saying thank you to those who said yes to allowing me in, right? But when you have that awareness, because truly, 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 you guys, when you come into your bodies and you start asking, you know, you clench your teeth. You guys all know you are in your head a lot, right? Like, I'm not saying the things you don't know, right? It's the awareness. And then when you know it for yourself and you say, what can I do to make this feel better? And whatever you hear, you start to take that action. Right? That's coming within and listening to your body. So like if you were to think about I keep thinking about it because I've fought parasites since I was 17. And I'm now in the space to actually clear them. It's like, I know that the Haagen-Dazs peanut butter and chocolate ice cream is not, it feeds the parasite. It doesn't feed me. Right? So when I'm going to reach for it and my body's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Right? I have the opportunity to say from a space within, and I ask, and my body will say, like, no, Tamara, like this, the full moon that just passed. Oh my God, the cravings for sugar with those parasites wanting to be fed with the full moon. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Right? But I chose to listen to my body instead by going within. Sorry, Jenny, I don't know if you want to say anything here.
No, that's so good. I was just going to ask, because I know that we only have a few more minutes, is there, and at the end, I definitely, Tamara, want everyone to know how they can find like your tribe, how we can get them copies of your books. One of the comments I've heard from everyone in the last round that they love the guest presenters because they know that there's someone who I trust, who they trust, that they can go and continue learning the holistic kind of healing approach. But before we talk about that, is there anyone, even if Tamara didn't read your energy, right? Like, is there anyone who has any question real quick before we tie this up? Such an incredible gift, Tamara. Thank you for coming here. I'm just like, oh, I love you.
I love you. I love you. And like I said, I'm so honored because if I can help, I want to help, right? Like that's the piece. Because when we can get to that space of creating enough room within our energetic body to come and live, like I always say, like you guys have deluxe apartments, and when we leave our body, we choose to live on the street. And you have a beautiful key in your hand to turn and choose you and choose to go in and live in this beautiful space. It is beautiful.
It's amazing.
Right? And again, if they ask questions later, you can just send them to me, like, because I get it, it's pretty intimate and personal stuff, right? Like energy is a thing.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Like I'm so grateful that you asked me and that I'm here.
Yes. How can people track you down? I like, you have Tea with Tamara podcast. You have a lot of different things. So how can people like be in your space more?
Well, there's two ways. So you honest to gracious, if you go to social media and you put in @Tamara Arnold author, you'll find me anywhere. I am everywhere. I'm like, I was going to say social media whore because I love it so much. Like, I just love to be on social media. So I'm constantly talking about the things that are going on, including the podcast and things like that. And then that's it. Yep. And so on Instagram, on Facebook, that's where I am the most. And you can send me messages in there. I'm a real person. I answer you. Send me that message. Like, we can talk about that. I'm going to have to watch the replay. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I know. There's a lot to go in. But I'm always giving this information, and I have an amazing newsletter, which will help me get to the goal. So if you actually go to my Instagram, And in my bio, you can click and continue this conversation with me in my newsletter. And I'm giggling because I have a big goal to become a Hay House author. And anyone who joins my newsletter, I'm going to give a free copy. You'll automatically get a free copy by joining the newsletter. So why don't I give you that link? Joining the newsletter gives them the copy of the Magical Business Method automatically right in the same foul swoop. And so we'll do that. I'll send that to you, Jenny. And then, you know, I do have the website tamaraarnold.ca for Canada, and you'll find more information about me there. But that's based mostly on the entrepreneurial world and in business, because I love that world a lot.
Well, and so I just want to share really quickly, the Magical Business Method, which is Tamara's second international best-selling book, is while it's written for Magical Business Academy, don't you think that even if you're not trying to go to business, you can get so much out of it learning?
Oh, no. The book is for everybody. The book is for every human on the planet, because it will tell you, yes, I do talk about that's the whole point of that book, is it breaks it down. So like, it will tell you that your root chakra is off when you're distracted. So if you can't keep yourself focused on anything, your root chakra is out. It'll tell you that if you're hiding, your sacral's out. It'll tell you exactly what, and exactly what's going on. You'll real life stories about what other people are going through. I do talk about the throat chakra, Kim, in there, and that it manifests as an illness. Like that's how we know it's off. So like everything that we've been talking about is all in this book. And so it'll give you a lot of clarity about your physical body, where, like I said, because if you have the awareness of what's out, then you have more opportunity to go in and say, this is, I know I'm out here and I can solve this problem by following whatever it says in the book too.
And I took notes, and I'm holding all of you accountable to those what Tamara's suggestions were, your mantras.
Amazing. And like, if you do go to Apple Podcasts, I do have something called Tea with Tamara. It's enlightened conversation to live your best life. And Jenny Carr has an incredible podcast with me where she talks about her story of healing. And we have an incredible podcast episode together.
We had fun. She made me cry.
Even in a podcast interview, yes. It's a gift of mine.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm so honored that you're here, Tamara. I really, really am grateful, because I know that it requires both this healing, requires this physiological component of taking action with our health, with our food, with our lifestyle, and equally, if not more important, right, is our thoughts, and those subconscious thoughts that we don't always see until we have the awareness. And when we can change the awareness, change the thoughts, we shift our energy, and everything heals, actually, just like we talked about in the podcast. You were the very first person I shared that with publicly. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful you're here.
Thank you, everybody. You are all wonderful people, and I'm so honored and grateful. Like, just grateful. That's all I can keep saying, because I love Grateful Heart. Anyway, love you all.
Bye. Have a great day, you guys. Take care.
Bye.